However, knowing the facts and the law is not enough for you to be able to like make a decision of that particular problem that is given to you. You kena tahu di apa orang panggil ni, the application. So masalah dia bila application dia tak strong, habis. Yeah, we know as lecturers you are not able to apply that particular law that you learn. Untuk exam problematic, kita ada 50-50 tau. 50% untuk law, 50% untuk application. So jadi kalaulah kata you buat application sahaja, that application must be lengthy. Okay, lengthy yang sama dengan law. Kalaulah law is to be a discussion about the law yang ada dalam case apa semua, then the application is also the same. So it must reflect. So dalam application actually macam ni ya. Ni group 4 Group mana pula? Okay. Okay. Tak apa, kita jangan terjun dulu untuk application. Tapi for the time being, 50% of your answer is on the application. Meaning kalau you ada 2 page, 1 page untuk law, 1 page untuk application. Conclusion dengan issue, they are just like a circle. Kalau you tengok circle, awal circle tu 5% is only on the issue, markah. Ya, kalau kita nak bahagi markah 20 markah, macam mana pembahagian markah 20 markah? Kita akan nampak 2 untuk issue, 2 untuk conclusion. So 4. Jadi 4 tolak 20 jadi apa? 16. 16 bagi 2. 16 bagi 2 apa? 8 So 8 lah. So 2, 8, 8, 2. Boleh nampak? Pembahagian untuk 20 markah. So 8 untuk law, 8 untuk application. Di situ you akan nampak the importance of application. So jaga-jaga kalau you nak buat application, you cannot simply say that certain students so they just apply and then tak boleh bagi the logic. I think that is one thing that I want to highlight lah. So, takut lupa. Okay, first you start dengan issue. Saya Ayah.
Sir, nak tanya, facts of the case maknanya soalan ni? Facts of the
facts of the, bukan case. We are not talking about case. Case, whenever somebody mention about a case, saya pun kadang-kadang buat mistake juga. When I mention about case, we are talking about legal case. If you're looking at a question, this is not a case. This is just a situation, a problem. Okay. So please be careful. Whenever you use words, this is just mere situation, a problematic situation that is given. Dia bukan facts pun. Facts of the case, dia jadi dah lain kan. So you should be able to differentiate. What do you mean by facts? What do you mean by case? What do you mean by problem? Boleh? Yes. Soalan
kalau kita mention facts of the issue, facts of the questions.
Yes.
Bolehkah kita guna term
itu? Boleh.
Facts of
the facts of the you are referring to the question.
Yes.
So you are very straightforward in saying that I'm going to do this looking at the facts of the question.
So facts of the question, facts of the case ni lain eh?
Lain. You're talking about a case that is being decided in court. That is a proper, a case to be a case has to go through a rigorous punya process. Kan, nak kena buat statement of claim, nak read off summon ke apa ke. The process of court yang kita belajar dekat MLS is one thing that makes a case a case. So otherwise kita kena differentiate. Kadang-kadang saya pun tersasul. You correct me if I make that mistake. Sometimes we overzealous ya. Kita dah terover sangat nak cakap kan. Kita cakap pasal case. So balik kepada everyone semua boleh tanya soalan tau. Otherwise it is a waste of meeting kalau kita tak ada tanya soalan ya. Very good Zul dengan Raza.
Sir je. Sir, facts of the case ni is referring to bahagian law, LAW, ILAC. ILAC. So under law, facts of the case ni di bawah law ke di bawah application? Sebab saya faham begitu. Under law, jangan cerita facts of the case dengan what was held in the case. I'm already a bit lost. So facts
Okay.
of the case ni lebih kepada application punya paragraf
Okay. Soalan tu takut lagi orang lain semua terkejut apa yang Datuk duk tanya ni. No, we had a discussion. Datuk telefon me and then we were engaging like 1 hour Datuk
Ya,
about that.
walaupun
So jadi for the rest yang masih duk belajar ni, kita jangan terkejut doa. Okay. So kita step by step So tak apa Datuk, we will go into that. Good question. Yang lain sebelum kita go into, ada tak soalan lain? You all boleh dengar I clearly
boleh.
Okay. Tengok soalan, bila tengok soalan, the first element that the first thing that is most important for you to do is to look at the question itself. Okay. This is the facts of the question and then you look at the question. The question that is asked. So consider the liability in tort. Remember Datuk selalu make mistakes by comparing entering into criminal. Remember you cakap hari tu, do we have to do a comparative into element of criminal? Tak payah, because you look at the question. Question is very straightforward. Consider the liability in tort, meaning go straight to the tort, and the subject that we are doing is tort, and then just concentrate on tort. Tapi tort yang subject kita this semester, bukan subject next semester. Now you might be saying that apa ni belajar macam ni, law is supposed to be encompassing kan, maksudnya dia semua wholesome kan. Kita tak boleh tengok satu-satu law tu spesifik untuk untuk satu-satu cerita je, tak boleh. Bila you jadi lawyer nanti, you look at one thing from all side. Okay, kalau you tengok mouse ni from every side, atas, bawah, kiri, kanan, you know, this is the problem that was given. So the same thing dengan you all. Tetapi untuk di semester sahaja, kita akan tengok from one side, from the bottom side. Ya, katalah example from the bottom side and only bahagi kepada dua, courts one. So either dia jatuh ke trespass ataupun jatuh ke negligent. Okay. Kalau vicarious liability, that is not your problem, because mungkin ada vicarious liability dalam soalan-soalan, ada nuisance, ada apa, don't touch them. Yeah, you can make a statement saying that since the syllabus is mainly about tort of trespass to person and negligent, my answer is going to be directed to answer areas of this two law. Maksudnya you buat conditioning lah. Okay, Zul fahamlah kita buat bila kita buat thesis ni kita ada exception we just want to concentrate on certain things. Okay, clear? Right, consider any liability in tort. Jadi kadang-kadang setengah orang dia setengah soalan dia akan bagi torts of trespass ataupun torts of negligence. So you go direct to the question. So in this case, it is a general statement, question that is general in nature. However, dia dah mention dekat sini, Dini, Tina and Eddie. Okay, so how many people that is involved in this particular question? That is the one that number one that you have to determine. Berapa orang? Three, yeah? Okay. So in exam or in situation, real situation, you identify the parties involved. Because kalau you tak identify the parties involved, chances are you terlepas. Bila you terlepas, bila masuk exam, you are not discussing about this particular X person, yang you tak perasan, habis. You're gonna lose. So sama dengan dalam real life, when you practice nanti later on, taking action against somebody else for your client, you should explore every possible parties that you want to sue. So sini soalan ni baguslah, dia direct to Tini, Tina and Eddie. What if the question consider the liability in torts of each parties involved? Then parties dalam tu ada 7 orang. Macam mana nak ataupun discuss the liability in torts. Dia tak ada spesifik kepada siapa. Then kalau dia tak bagi kepada siapa, ada 7 orang, 7 orang you kena discuss. So sini clear, a very direct question. I think ini part B. No wonder lah part B. Soalan part C dia berbentuk multi issue, multi topic. Part B ni kalau dulu is single topic tapi multiple issue. Kalau you tengok sini, topik ni adalah trespass to person tapi dia ada multiple issues. So dia ada more than one issue. Tapi part C ni dia akan jadi caca merbal. Maksudnya that topik daripada negligent boleh masuk dengan trespass, dan trespass ni dia boleh pergi mana-mana trespass. Okay, so jadi di situ kena jaga-jagalah part C tu. Soalan? Ada soalan? Tak ada? Right. Kita tengok, the first one that you need to do is to raise the issue. Kenapa issue tu penting? Kalaulah issue tu tak establish, issue is what? Apa maksud issue?
Problem.
Problem. Is a question. Sorry tulis sini ya. It is a question. Issue would be a question. If you legal question lah ya, kita raise as a legal legal question. Or questions lah, ada S kat situ kan. So kalau legal questions, false imprisonment is the one that you want to brought up. Ada beberapa isu kat dalam soalan. Kalau ada banyak false imprisonment, mungkin ada A dengan B, B dengan C, C dengan D, ada 3 false imprisonment. Then therefore you kena letak isu tiga-tiga dalam isu tu, dalam when you are discussing the issue. So issue 1, issue 2, issue 3 all are about false imprisonment. Kenapa kita kena letak semua isu untuk false imprisonment sekali? Because benda tu dia interrelated. Law dia satu, tetapi the problem ada 3. So you have to group them and put them together. You cannot buat ILAC untuk issue number 1, ILAC untuk issue number 2 which is false imprisonment, dan ILAC untuk false imprisonment yang ketiga. Tak boleh. Sebab it is a waste of time. Because law dia satu. Kenapa you nak kena ada 3 law kalau you buat ILAC 3? Right? So apatah lagi kalau you ada false imprisonment 3, assault 3, battery 3, dah ada 3, 6, 9 ILAC. Mampus, kan? Panjang sangat cerita dia, so you tak boleh. You have to be, you kena buat strategi. This is the strategy. Kalau lah kata ada 3 false imprisonment, letak 3 isu tu, tetapi the application akan jadi 3. Application untuk number 1, issue number 1, application untuk issue number 2, application untuk issue number 3. Dan saya suggest dekat you all, kalau you dah buka satu application untuk issue number 1, you mesti conclude terus. Tak nak, sekali lagi ada student bila towards the final, dia dah habis cerita, dia tak conclude untuk issue number 1, issue number 2, dia conclude untuk issue number 3 yang di mana dia tengah dah buat. So it is better for you to open the application untuk issue number 1, close it by doing your conclusion, and then for that issue lah, and then you move on to application to issue number 2, conclusion, application to issue number 3, conclusion. Then you can sum up. Sum up is just a sentence lah. You boleh kata, therefore the above argument with respect to false imprisonment, I would conclude that A, B and C is going to be most likely liable if the case goes to court. Remember, jangan buat decision kata in conclusion A is therefore liable. Making the statement of A therefore is liable is as if you are the judge. You are not the judge. We are just students, right? So we have to utilize the words yang kita nak pakai ialah if this particular case, if this particular problem goes to court, chances are that the A, B and C is going to be likely liable, because you must remember there is 2 parties dalam court. Bila you saman orang, takkanlah dia nak biar diri dia kena saman. right? Dia mesti ada lawyer yang dia nak defend. So it depends on two parties. Bila parties tu ada berkelahi dekat mahkamah, obviously the probability yang macam tadi cakap untuk nuisance tadi kan, dia akan jadi either win or lose. So you kena reflect that lah. If this particular problem is brought to the court of law, chances of A winning this particular claim of trespass to person assault is very high because all the elements of trespass to person assault is being established. Okay? Itu tak tengok dia punya the opposition pula kan? Kan ada lawyer yang on the defendant pula nak take action against nak defend the case. Okay, soalan.
Tapi conclusion kita guna perkataan macam may, might. Dan
Yes.
kita will be liable, salah, may be
Salah.
liable, might be liable.
It reflects kita punya knowledge ataupun where you nampak the knowledge of law that we have. Boleh nampak Right. Itu kalau ada satu area of law, ada 3 isu, you kena jump them together. Now, dalam isu, anyone can stop me at any time please. This is not a lecture, jadi kita workshop. Sekarang, dalam isu, apa yang kena ada? Macam ni, kalau kita tengok whether Tina can recover damages for false imprisonment when Dini and Ali lure Tina into the tool shed at the tennis club where they lock her in. You rasa macam mana isu ni? Apa yang tak tahu, lecturer you all ada tak ajar macam mana, apa yang sepatutnya kena ada dalam isu?
Very brief.
I think can we rephrase a bit whether Tina siapa yang liable? I think
Tina lah kan. Siapa yang kalau kita tengok the facts of the question,
whether somebody is liable in the thought of trespassing for, I think that's supposed to be the right. I don't know.
Okay, good. Di sini yang dia orang buat, okay, ada 6 elemen. The first is the question dengan whether. So this is number 1. Second are the parties. Here you're looking at Tina might be the plaintiff, right? Depending on the question lah. So mesti ada satu whether, 2 the parties, the plaintiff. Kalau you ada plaintiff, the name of the plaintiff must be stated. So sini the third element would be the parties, meaning the defendant. So kalaulah Dini dengan Eddie ni, they are acting together. Tengok soalan. Dini and her friends, Eddie managed to lure. Okay. So dia ada N dekat sini So this is one problem. So one problem of these two doing something, right? So jadi these are the potential defendant. So dah ada satu, whether, 2. So saya letak sini 1, 2 tu siapa? Plaintiff lah potential plaintiff. 3 potential defendant. What is the act of this two that has done towards her is the apa dia yang dia orang ni sebab you nak relate false imprisonment law to the act that they have done. So di sini number 4, lock. Bila lock her in to some, you have no right to lock anyone in because that is our fundamental right of movement, betul tak, under federal constitution. So nobody is to lock anyone without their consent. So yang ni number 4. And if you were to do this, mesti ada dia punya law dia. Any illegal act ataupun criminal act ataupun civil wrong, okay, thought is civil wrong kan, dia mesti ada law dia. So law dia adalah yang kelima. Inilah false imprisonment. Okay.
False imprisonment is the action already kan?
Tak, false imprisonment. Sorry, you boleh kata thought of. Di sini you nak bagi thought of false imprisonment.
Okay.
Nampak? So you go straight to
So the action is locking her up or false imprisoning her.
Ya. Tak payah pun kalau you nak bubuh apa, locking her in tu by the words itself is locking somebody in without kalau you nak kata kat sini nak tambah without permission pun boleh juga.
Kami dalam topik isu dia ada 5 elemen. Satu, who are the parties, plaintiff, defendant. Dua, what was the action done?
Ya.
Dua. The false imprisonment tu masuk kat mana? Perkataan false imprisonment. Kalau we are going straight to the law, I mean to
Tu
the
nombor 5 dah ada false imprisonment.
nombor 5.
For the law of tort of false imprisonment. Pun boleh dia, tak ada masalah. Apa tak?
Maknanya kan sir,
Ya,
maknanya may be liable kan, kita use the word may be liable for the tort of imprisonment.
Ya, maybe liable pun boleh. Here can recover damages pun boleh, okay? Can recover damages for ataupun can recover damages. Boleh lah, acceptable can recover damages. Tak apa. Ni how you are going to write your issue is up to you. Your ability to to utilize words, you know. And it depends on your English lah. Control of
Yelah,
English.
yang I nampak the way kita craft issue tu, yelah macam kalau I prefer yang I sebut dulu liable maybe liable for false imprisonment, then I bagi tahu for the reason of contohnya macam locking Tina and so forth, instead of macam kat sini saya bagi tahu yang law tu dekat belakang number 5, the fifth element, tapi it doesn't matter kan, as long as
doesn't matter
is the scope.
at least your language punya ability lah kan. Setengah orang ada style dia, you know, how you put it
passive, ada active kan.
Your language is in your own control. However, the ingredients kan macam kita nak masak aje lah. As long as you nak masuk cili dulu ke bawang dulu ke, it's up to you. As long as yang penting ada bawang, ada cili. Okay. Boleh nampak
Okay sir. Maknanya
boleh,
kena ingredient, 5 ingredient dalam isu tu kena ada lah, nak susun macam-macam pun.
Betul. So whenever you nak buat isu tu, apa yang isu nak kena buat ni, apa yang at least you dah tahu ada 5 elemen tu, then you dah boleh craft the issue. Soalan? Yang girls ni diam je. Are you okay? 23 orang. Ramai ya?
Okay sir, ada.
Okay alright.
Dia tu absorb.
Sir.
Ya.
Saya faham this issue 5 elemen ni. Elemen 1 I'm clear, 2 clear, 3, 4 blur, 5 clear. Okay, yang clear 1 tu weather, kena ada perkataan weather lah.
Kenapa? Because weather is a question, right? It's a legal question.
It's a question, so weather is 1 point lah. Setengah markah there, for example, point number 1. Point number 2, who are the parties, defendants and the plaintiffs? Mention names involved in this question. Number 3, actions ni macam locking, luring, dia bukan satu kategori of actions ke?
Lure tak ada apa-apa. There is no law on luring people. Kalau macam tu orang buat advertisement pun to lure you to buy their product. Is it against the law? Tak boleh kan? So but the fact that they lure the person, meaning there is an intention lah. Di sini kalau kita kan nampak luring kan, is considered as what the element yang you nak prove. Luring ni, apa berkenaan luring? This is an act that shows mental. Number 1, trespass, remember, item number 1 untuk all trespass is mental. How do you prove mental? You look at the act. And how do you know whether the act is that leads to that particular law, right? Macam luring is something that is in their own control. The activity that they luring Tina is an activity that they are in control of the situation. It is not because the ada anjing kejar ke, you know, the question can go to the to change it, kata ada anjing kejar ke, ada pembunuh ke, ada a rapist ke. If this situation happens, it slightly change the scenario of the outcome of the problem that we are doing.
Okay, so that means the 5 criteria: number 1, whether; number 2, parties involved; number
Yes.
3, number 3 apa?
The defendant, potential
Actions.
defendant. Number
Yang tu
3 kan ada Dini
number-
dengan Eddie ni potential defendant.
Tapi number 2 dah mention defendant, plaintiff, Dini, Eddie semua dah mention.
You tengok ni, number 2 ni Tina is the plaintiff. 3 Dini dengan Eddie, the defendant. Nampak tak? Mana
Parties
tu?
break up into 2 lah. Nombor 2,
Ya.
nombor 3 is defendant. Okay.
Mana dia tools ni? Saya ni. Okay, kejap. Bagi color lah, senang. Color dia lain-lain. Okay. Whether Tina, you all ni lah rasa okay kot, So macam ni, Dini, biru, the law of false imprisonment. Okay. Right, lock her in without her permission. So di sini you boleh nampak how you, macam Zul kata tadi lah, how you draft that particular question is up to you. Tetapi it must be starting with whether. Okay. Soalan?
Doctor, is it sufficient to say whether Dini and Eddie are liable of false imprisonment through the action of locking Tina in the shed?
Up to you. Tapi you kata macam mana tadi? Whether?
I put it here.
Kat mana ni letak? Okay. Liable. This one dah tunjuk kata you dah tak tahu the law.
Oh, okay.
Because this is not a legal case. This is just a potential problem that is given for you to check whether it might end up being liable or not liable if the case goes to court. Tapi kalau liable, maksudnya this is a definite case dalam court. So you are not, you don't have the authority to say somebody is liable because number 1, you are not a judge. Second, this is not a legal case yang proper dalam court. And then third one, there is a chance that the defendant punya perspektif is not being discussed here. So you cuma nampak perspektif plaintiff saja. Kalau you dilantik sebagai defendant lawyer, obviously you kata apa ni, what is this? You know, because there must be 2 parties, the plaintiff lawyer and the defendant lawyer. So you guys might be ending up with the defendant punya lawyer. So obviously this is yet to discuss about the defending punya part. Kita cuma nampak elemen, betul tak? Tetapi kita tak bagi chance untuk the defendant untuk nak lawan. Sebab dalam
So
kalau
that
nak
means
letak liable tu, I think tukar sikit macam, I don't know, I tak pernah guna ayat ni. Macam whether there are probability Dini and Eddie liable of false imprisonment. Itu mungkin kot sebab dia
maybe
sebut
tak
there are
would,
probability.
maybe, perhaps, you know.
Kalau macam tu boleh?
Betul lah. Maybe
liable.
Maybe liable tak boleh because sama dengan soalan tadi.
Sir guna perkataan can recover. She is using
Can be liable. Can be liable is good. Can be liable. Apa pula can be liable sama dengan may be liable.
Yeah, correct. So sir is using the word can recover. We are using the word be liable, can be liable, may be liable. So you are using the word can recover damages. Itu pun macam nak pergi court juga.
Betul. So you tambahlah kata if this case goes to court.
If this case goes to court,
Ni kan nampak were to go to court, nampak tak? If this problem were to go to court of law,
let me keep
you
away
bagi
let me keep away from the words libel, go towards if go to court can recover, full stop.
or the chances of winning.
Chances of winning, okay.
Chances of winning itu is a good word kan for you to use to play safe.
Go around a bit, don't go straight and say libel.
Obviously, you want to practice to yourself that he is going to be responsible, right? But we don't go there yet. Okay, kita kata that, be general.
Unless question tu tanya, will Ali be liable to Ahmad? Baru guna the word libel dalam isu
Even that you have to caution and saying that since this is not a legal case and the question is asking about the liability, based on my argument that I have already stated above, therefore I would say the chances of liability of Mr. X is very high because he has fulfilled all the elements that is needed to prove trespass to whatever lah. Trespass to person ke, assault, things like that. So you be fair in utilizing your words. Jangan kata whether Tina can claim, Tina can win the case ataupun whether Dini and Eddie liable for the tort of trespass. Itu statement yang memang bahaya gila, ya. You don't mention about the people that is involved, the plaintiff. You just mention about the defendant, which is wrong.
So we use word whether they exist, thought of assault, thought of battery, thought of false imprisonment, whether they exist.
Whether they exist, macam Zul kata tadi lah, it depends on you. How do you use your English language, right? Ada setengah orang ada flair, ada setengah orang tak ada flair. Tak kisah, whatever it is, as long as ada 5 elemen ni, you rojak lah macam mana pun. Macam masak kan. Nobody is to dictate you in saying that this one first, this one second. Tak ada. It's up to you. Yeah?
So this issue, how to answer this issue ni is very interesting. Is because in the real world, when we go to court, the lawyers will tell the judge, Hakim, the issue is Ali versus Ahmad regarding the accident that took place. So defendant ada, whether they don't use the word whether because this is already in court. But the issue in court is said, they mention who versus who and what is that case about.
The case is
classroom.
The case must be very specific because the law is specific. Law of trespass to person ada tiga, trespass to person ada tiga kan, assault, battery, false imprisonment. Which one is which? Siapa buat apa? Kalau you tak specific, then it becomes apa you nak buat ni, apa you nak tangkap. When you mention about tadi apa Datuk kata? Kata apa, the words that you accident or act, the action of that person, you have to be clear what action you're talking about, what act, siapa buat apa kepada seseorang. It has to be very clear in your issue, otherwise the issue is very vague. Bila very vague, you nak discuss the law of that particular act, you did not mention or elaborate the act in the issue. Jadi macam mana you boleh nak kata he is responsible? Bila orang tanya, you boleh kata bacalah soalan tu. I mean that is not how we do things. When people walk into your firm later on, they give you a problem. You have to take from the discussion that you have with your client, potential client. Say for example, he or she came to your office for half an hour discussing about the problem. So you have to pick the legal issues that is involved that you can bring out and put into claim. Yeah. So it might be trespass to person, assault, ada battery, ada false imprisonment, ada on top of that breach of contract, and then on top of that nuisance, on top of that juga boleh cover. It covers the whole spectrum of law. Tapi kita punya tugas is the ability. Now the practice that we are doing, you might be thinking, apa siapa yang saya nak kena go through all this detail apa semua, because it becomes second nature. Nanti you dah sampai dekat nak habis, nanti when you practice, it becomes second nature to be specific, not to generalize an action that you want to take against somebody else. Okay, kita jadi lawyer ni, kita kena jadi specific. Okay, we cannot allow to make any mistakes, because once we make a mistake, you give the opportunity for your opposition to counter attack. Okay, so dan you juga akan bagi situation or open to the court to say that, you nak apa ni? Apa kes ni pasal apa? Kes pasal TORT lah yang ada. Iyalah, apa dia? Takkanlah, the judge doesn't know what is happening. So you have to point it out. And in order for you to point it out, what act of a person that falls against the law, then you have to be very detailed. So kat sini kita nampak, panjangnya isu. Iyalah, memang kena panjang. Kena ada semua elemen tu. Kalau tidak, you have a loose case. You don't know what you are doing, who you want to sue, and then what he or she has done. It has to be very detailed. We cannot afford mistakes, yeah? Faham? Girls, okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, okay.
Alright. Learning something but practicing something is ni nanti part 7 dengan part 8 nanti you know very detail lah macam mana nak buat. But this is the practice. Remember, for every semester kita buat semua ni, it will build your mental awareness of the how to pick up that case ataupun problem in the court of law. Ni nampak tak? Whether Dini, Eddie, kita ada dah nampak Dini, Tina, whether pun ada kan, false imprisonment and then locking, right? So okay lah, can be simple as that, tak ada masalah.
Tapi the word be liable may be liable.
Itulah, may be liable, boleh lah, boleh dimaafkan.
Boleh lah. Okay.
Kalau strict sangat pun pengsan lah ya. Alright.
Doktor, kalau tambah macam whether blah 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 Tina in the shed, and therefore Tina will be may be able to claim damages. Itu ada extra point tak? Tak ada.
Weh, 2 point aja daripada 20 markah.
They cover law punya section.
Okay. Be specific.
Sebab because remember, daripada 20 markah, issue is nothing, but issue, walaupun I kata statement nothing, but it is important for you to start off. Sebab the legal question must be proper. Kalau legal question is not proper, then the rest of it reflects you don't know what you're doing. Okay?
Sorry ni sir, regarding the topic of issue ni, my final question because my question, my group number 11 ni, dia ada banyak actions yang telah dilakukan oleh defendant towards plaintiff, 5-6 action. So that means dalam issue, semua actions yang against the law, kita kena letak. For example, she threw the flower pot, she pounced on the door, she threatened. All the issue kena letak. So baru dapat
you letak na issue number 1, issue number 2, issue number 3. Because here, I boleh kata, this is issue number 1. I copy issue number 1. And then you boleh letak kat bawah ni. Again, we are looking at false imprisonment. So you boleh kata issue number 2. So issue number 2, maybe it is because X and Z ke apa, X, Y and Z. X, Y and Z punya cerita. So you again, that is one situation. Kalau ada isu yang sama juga, you letaklah isu 3 pula. But they are in the same law. You nampak tak? False imprisonment, issue number 1, issue number 2, false imprisonment, issue number 3 pun false imprisonment. So we are talking about 3 similar law that we have to discuss, similar issues of the law, one law. We are talking about the false imprisonment.
But affecting 3 parties
Yes,
under issue.
yes. Because you do not know when your client walks into the office nanti later on, dia akan bawa banyak 5-6 orang punya cerita. So you want to put in perspective. You nak saman siapa? Kalau you nak saman ni, ni ada legal issues yang
Okay.
you boleh.
Okay.
Nanti, because ingat, dalam Federal Constitution, you can take action against one person, only one saja. So kalau you tak proper, you tak scrutinize, nanti terlepas.
Okay. That means simply put, A tanpa B, B tanpa C, C tanpa D. That means the issue is antara A dengan B, satu
B
bateri.
dengan C.
B dengan C, bateri juga. Betul, isu 2. C dengan D, bateri juga. Isu 3, bateri. Tiga orang involved. Betul, isu.
Satu law, battery.
Satu law. Bateri tapi 3 isu.
Yes.
Got it.
Got it, ya? Right. Question daripada yang lain? So kalau tak ada, ada tak? Kita nak move towards law,
Oh, ke 10.
Weh, orang yang mengajak tak kisah pasal time, hampa pula nak jaga time. You can leave the session lah if you don't want.
That issue aja dah 1 jam, setengah jam.
Oh, I see. I was thinking that.
Minta
Tak apa. Tak, halang-halang kita nak buat, might as well buat betul-betul. Right. Right, kita tengok law. Kalau kita tengok law, kecil sikit. What would be the element of law yang kita nak letak? Number one is the, ini apa pula ni, section 339 Penal Code pula ni. Ni siapa punya group group 4.
Macam-macam law.
Jawapan salah.
Dalam reality nanti satu hari mungkinlah kita nak correlate apa relationship between this law and that law, and you know. Tapi this time kita kena fokus, ya. We are very focused to the law of tort saja. So you don't need to do anything. Tak payah. Law yang the first one, you kena bagi definition of that particular false imprisonment, because we are very specific. Here we are talking about false imprisonment, the law of false imprisonment. You start off the law of false imprisonment.
Definasi.
Okay. Is
Sir, kalau sambung, the law of false imprisonment is that it requires the defendant to have intention to completely restrict the claimant's freedom of movement.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Okay. Should be okay. Simple tak? Kalau you dapat problematic question, it is a very straightforward. What is the law? What is the definition of false imprisonment? Restricting someone from moving, and which is under that person's rights to under personal liberty of the person.
Ya.
Simple, straightforward. Tak payah bagi banyak-banyak. Okay, ni siapa cakap apa, tak payah. What is the legal definition of false imprisonment?
So section 339 applicable ke, sir?
Itulah, apa benda-benda macam ni tak payah nak involve. We are talking about tort. Pasal apa yang nak masuk dalam penal code pula? You buat benda yang sama dalam penal code. Penal code nanti, penal code pula, criminal law. When you do criminal law, then only you discuss the same problem.
Ya, so tort tak ada sections. Dia tak ada act, tak ada akta.
Tak ada kata. Why?
So, pakai case law saja.
Kita ada case law saja.
The why tu, I'm still figuring out why they created a separate segment for tort. Letak je dalam criminal.
Dia lain. The fundamental of difference between tort and civil law and criminal law is beyond reasonable doubt. Dalam criminal, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Sini is balance of probability, meaning kalau you boleh prove your case is better than the opposition, then you win.
Okay.
You don't have to prove beyond all reasonable doubt. Nampak tak beza antara criminal? Criminal is sentencing dia lain. We are talking about civil, dia damages, but criminal is punishment, jail. So division dia lain, judge dia lain, method of application lain. So everything is semua lain. And then the
So that's why
dalam
percentage lain, percentage 100%.
This is between civil person, between one person to another. Tapi kalau dalam criminal is about AG dengan is a law or crime against society. This is not a crime against society. This is a wrongdoing against individual member of the society. Dua dunia yang berbeza. So it's wrong for you to put this argument. Tak ada. You are not to teach the judge. Tuan Hakim tahu tak? Saya nak buat TOT ni. TOT ni ada dalam section 3. Dia baling dia punya tu dekat you. Okay, I biasa nampak Hakim baling file. You know, when I used to work dekat bank, kita kena pergi jadi witnesses dekat court. I duduk dekat bench. Boleh judge tu baling file. I mean, there are certain things that you do as a lawyer. How can you make that kind of mistake? Tak boleh. Because people's life in your hands. So yang it start here lah dengan saya punya input, insyaAllah that can change the situation.
Tapi the section 339 looks very, very tempting and applicable.
Hey, you are doing law of thought. Jangan duk pergi menyebuk dengan benda-benda lain. Don't try to show that you are intelligent. Law bagi straightforward. Macam tu je. Iyalah macam tu je. Simple. It's just one sentence saja.
The definition.
Maksudnya dalam definition of the false imprisonment mesti ada criteria of the apa orang panggil? The criteria. What is the element? Yes, the element. Ada the intention of the person to
mental state.
Intention, ada to imprison and then without consent. Itu je.
Syaharis.
Ya.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yang definition tu for the examination, for the proper examination answer for kita punya final assessment lah kan. The definition tu kita should we cite any authority ke any reference ke? Tak perlu we just ambil the just rephrase
the
ke
gist. Kita ambil the gist saja. Kita tak you don't have to prove. Sat lagi sebab apa yang you cakap dalam false imprisonment tadi as definition you akan prove kat bawah in terms of all the legal words that you mentioned above in the definition.
Itu yang carry more weight lah kan rather than just
so,
elaborate on the definition.
Jadi definition is not important but it is prevailing lah
to
kan.
To gauge us towards understanding the whole concept of law is that.
Yes. Ingat, kita tak ada masa whenever you are answering problematic question, your element or your concentration is about the application. Ini bukan essay. Kalau essay, anything goes. You know, you can letak section 339 just to compare and contrast, and then you can you can relate to the fundamental rights of a person. Then you boleh meragau mana-mana tempat yang you nak. You boleh pergi administrative law, you pergi ke land law, you pergi ke federal constitution, you pergi ke criminal. Essay is like that, right? But essay is also focusing on the problem. However, problematic question is very direct, meaning it needs you to come up with a solution, a probable solution or potential solution. Okay, don't waste your time on that. Okay, Now, first element, ni bagus. The first element is mental state of the defendant. Then you have to highlight. Okay, must be able to highlight. Yeah. Why you have to highlight? Because you are telling yourself this is the key element of the first the first thing that you have to establish. Now, you explain which they have done this. They explain about the mental. The defendant must commit restraint intentionally, which directly result the confinement of the plaintiff. This is the elaboration of the point that they have made. First, you said about mental, right? So, what is the mental? And then you explain. Now, once you explain, nampak dia punya structure is very straightforward. Okay, number one is stating the point. Number two is to elaborate the point. Number three is to put in the authority, which the legal case that can elaborate the mental state that you mentioned just now. Dalam case ni, I don't need you to put full citation. It's just the whole case punya the proper citation of the case. You cannot be saying in the case of in the case of W or in the case of Lee Ling San, you can't be doing you cannot be doing that. Ya, ingat yang saya kata yang buat saya bising hari tu kan, kahwin kat Kuala tu. It has to be very specific. Okay, so now about the case, apa yang dalam case yang you nak kena kata? Dia kena, this is a case law. Maksud case law tu macam mana? You were in this case, the law is identified. The law is identified. Okay. Identified by the courts in their judgment. Itu je. Nampak tak? So the importance of the case is for you to be able to identify a case whereby in the ratio decidendi in that particular case mentioning the mental. Remember, every case yang you nak letak, you mungkin dekat elemen mental satu, you know, dekat sini, dekat restraint must be complete, you letak another case. Actually, kalau you ambil satu case sahaja, dia akan discuss tiga-tiga elemen. Because if you were to prove false imprisonment, dia akan kena tanya mental. Dalam Imprisonment ni pun akan ada mental. Dalam Imprisonment pun ada juga restraint must be complete. Restraint is consequences of the defendant, and then it must be complete. Tiga-tiga elemen ada dalam satu case tu. Tapi disebabkan Norcaya has given an explanation about the direct consequence apa, so you letaklah another case. In this case, the more the better lah. For every element, you bagi satu case just to show that you know what you're talking about. But the reality ialah setiap satu case tu mesti ada elemen tiga-tiga discussed by the court.
So ni kata sir. So I agree dengan you bila you kata every case tu all the element tu ada kan. Cuma maybe yang I perasan maybe in some of the cases court emphasize on, contohnya macam yang I ada cite local case, dua local case. Dua-dua court lebih emphasize on the contact. Kan? Tapi of course lah kan the elemen lain itu memang ada lah like mental apa nama kan. Cuma yang court lebih emphasize on the hostile touching tu, on the contact. So maknanya for that particular part kita cite for that, kita tak kat situ lah kan, kita emphasize that law yang being established by the court lah kan. Betul.
Because you want to go into the nitty-gritty of that particular element, right? So what do you mean by social touching ataupun touching by force? You know, it can be fine-tuned. So how this fine-tuning goes about is you can found it in this particular case which you are citing.
Then kan setengah kes macam apa nama tu Dr. Nur Cahaya dia mention dalam dia punya explanation tu, sometimes dia tak directly discuss, dia tak directly mention the intention, tapi the intention tu ada kan, ada kat situ, tapi dia tak directly directly emphasize on that. So maknanya kalau kita kan, if we were to cite that case, dan kita kata the intention is established, maknanya kita analyse from the facts of the case itself. Itu pun considered law kan, sir?
Bila kita ada soalan, problem that is given to us, kita nak relate or try our best to find authority that relates to the facts or to the problem that was given. Okay, maksudnya bila you letak elemen first mental, so you talk about a case that is similar, first you have to mention the landmark case lah, kan, that is the authority. Normally kita akan letak the English case. Remember CLA, okay, we are doing TORT whereby there is lacuna, we have to take English law and things like that. So those application of the British principle of law, okay, we are to mention it in our answer. Then secondly, we can say or quote cases in Malaysia that adopt the English punya approach. So you boleh nampak chain of event or the chain of legal authority. So from England we have a case, and then it was adopted in the UK by another case, and then it was applied this principle in Malaysia, and then it was adopted further in the Malaysian case. Mungkin ada 4 case that you want to quote, but this one there are so many issues involved in the questions. You are not to the extent able to or expected to explain everything. So kita is more about knowing how rather than to really prove our argument. Remember, it is a problematic solution rather than essay. Kalau kita essay, kita boleh lah cerita this particular principle was derived, in this particular case in the UK, and then it was adopted in Malaysia by another case. So we don't want to go to that extent. Kita cuma very direct where you just prove in what case that this mental is established by the court. Okay, so here you can take any case lah, any case of false imprisonment as your authority. So it does not have to be a specific case, because the mental test is a general test. Kalau general test, in all false imprisonment semuanya sama, the first element. So you can take any case. Tapi kalau you punya practice nanti later on kita ambil the latest one lah, okay? The highest court, kena ingat MLS dulu kan, binding judicial precedent kan. So you kena ambil the highest case and the latest case. Tapi for these purposes tak payah, just the proving of the mental state by virtue of this case. So apa yang sepatutnya kita letak kat dalam case ni? Itu yang penting, right? The facts of the case, as what Datuk hari tu tanya, dia kata facts penting ke? Facts tak penting langsung. Because the case is case law. So kalau case law, kenapa you nak cakap pasal the facts? What is the relevance of the facts to the problem that is given above? Tak perlu. So why do you put it in? So macam ni tak payah lah. Kenapa pula the plaintiff or arrested? If it is relevant to the mental thing that you want to explain, okay. Here you boleh kata the plaintiff said the police officer negligently arrested. Apa ni? It was held that false imprisonment. Di sini tak clear. Apa yang group 4 nak cakap ni?
Sir, sorry sir.
Prerequisite.
Yeah.
Actually, sir was about to answer my question. Just now, you mentioned that fact of the case is not important. However, if there is anything that relate to the principle, it can be put in very precisely.
Yes.
But the principle from the case law is sufficient to be included in there. Is that correct?
Because di sini you nak highlight, mungkin they wanted to highlight the facts. Why? Because the key word here is that arrested by the police at the entrance of the court. So was it false imprisonment? Where does this false imprisonment start off? kita dalam court, kalau kita nak saman orang, kita kena determine, be specific about the time and date, you know, at what time, 11:58 pagi di tempat sekian-sekian, you know, beralamat sekian-sekian. So the time has to be specific. Why? Because we are trying to capture the action of a person which is bound by time. So kata dah 11:58 pagi is the action that took place. Apa yang dia buat pada waktu tu, pada saat tu, pada minit tu. Dalam 1 minit tu berlaku tu, apa yang berlaku? Ada tiga-tiga, ada mental, ada direct, you know, and then ada complete. So tiga-tiga tu. Tapi bila you nak saman, you nak kena start saman tu daripada tarikh berapa? Daripada masa berapa? Kenapa you nak quantify? You need to establish wrongful act berlaku bila, dan start daripada situlah saya nak claim saya punya composition. Ada case nanti kita go through, ada yang 11 tahun baru dia boleh identify, ada yang cuma 1 bulan. Okay? Boleh tak ni?
Ya.
Okay.
That means saya nak jawab for the case LP Stone ni, they just have to write the gist is intention of the doer is a prerequisite that was established in the case that established the law.
Yes.
Intention.
The most important thing, as I mentioned, is about mental. Where is the explanation of this about the mental?
Intention, prerequisite.
Dia tak mental saja. Mana mental lah. So where can you prove where in this particular case that is the court decision kata dia ada mental? Kat mana?
Intention.
Ni kalau the plaintiff was arrested by the police at the entrance of the court on charge of driving a lorry with insufficient brakes. That does not tell anything. Betul? That is just mere facts.
Yeah.
Which is not relevant to the mental that you are talking about. Kenapa you nak cerita benda-benda yang tak ada, yang mengarut, yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan what you want to prove, mental. So the plaintiff said the police officer negligently arrested him or her, you know, macam mana? Sini yang important, arrested bila, macam mana? Arrested tu. Negligent arrested, how can it be negligent arrested?
Without clear intention.
Sini yang paling penting, ini ratio decidenda dia. Actually, this is the ratio decidenda yang you kena highlight. Mana dia? Pening.
Tapi negligent ni lah, without intention lah. Dia tertangkap. Terarrest.
Tak, macam mana you nak kata tertangkap? Apa yang berlaku waktu tu? Yang lain diam je. If you're talking about arresting, police arresting you, right? So, apa yang polis buat yang menunjukkan dia tangkap?
Selalunya kalau dia tangkap, maknanya dia dah ada intention lah.
Maksudnya that is the one that you have to highlight. When he was arrested by the police, you know, that is directly showing that the police officer had the intention of arresting him.
Sebab kalau kat sini kata, plaintiff said that the police officer negligently arrested. Maknanya negligence ni tak ada, there is no intention lah kan. Sebab
betul. Kalau negligent dah contradict kan?
Intention. Sebenarnya you kena apa nama tu?
You kena olah.
Analyze that.
Yes.
There is no, kena olah mengatakan bahawa
you kena cari kat dalam kes tu dekat mana yang kata mental tu. Macam mana nampak tak? You kena ada teknik mengupas.
Yes.
This is the skill. Ni skill semua orang kita yang belajar law ni kena ada. Dekat mana you kata you ketangkap? Bila you tahan saya, macam mana saya tahan you? You suruh tangan you suruh tangan untuk tahan ataupun the police block the door. So blocking the door means what? You tahan lah. Kalau polis, kalau you tahan, maksudnya polis ada kiri kanan dalam kereta. Kat belakang tu, dia duduk, you duduk tengah-tengah, dia duduk kiri kanan, ada tepi dengan kiri dan kanan you. That is considered as false imprisonment. Kalau lah dia punya arrest is illegal. Nak. Bila arrest dia illegal, so what? I have, okay, illegal, so you nak saman I apa? Force imprisonment. Macam mana force imprisonment berlaku? You know, berlaku lah bila you duduk okey kanan I. Kenapa pula jadi macam tu? I tak berani keluar. Any reasonable person in my position tak akan, excuse me, saya nak keluar. You know, that is considered as having the mental by you, the policeman. Ingat, mental. Here we are talking about the defendant now, the potential defendant. Yeah, the state of the defendant. So here, what is the act of the defendant? What is the act of the police? What they have done. Apa yang dia buat, perbuatan yang dia buat itu sebagai satu bukti. Okay, kalaulah kata I nak tampar you, macam mana tangan ni boleh bergerak? Bukannya hantu, you know, macam dia kata ada apa ada apa kata kita hantar makhluk ke apa, is something that is controlled by your mind, you know. You are controlling this mental. You have that mental. How do you prove mental? Because the physical is moving without, must be with mental. How can a hand move without you having the mental to move it?
Okay, I think to solve this problem ni, the mental state of mind, the case Alfie Stone ni, we just extract the word intention as a prerequisite. In that case, what exactly the officer did, like we say, the facts of that case, tak payah bawa masuk. We just bring in the word intention and prerequisite to show mental state. Therefore, we're going to apply to Tini, lock the other tennis player with the intention. I mean, this law say you must have intention. The law in Alfie Stone. So intention dengan as a prerequisite, itu keyword dia lah, I think lah.
Tak payah cari benda lain, cari mental dia. Mana perbuatannya yang nampak mental?
Sebab for this particular case, kita nak serve the the law with regard to the intention. So kita just focus on the intention sajalah.
Yeah.
Unless kalau kita nak gunakan untuk benda lain pula kan, dan kita cari dah pula korek lagi.
Tapi
cari pula the same case, tapi you concentrate on second element pula. Sebab kalau you tengok judgement, memang judgement panjang because judgement has to go through the same process.
Yeah, and in my opinion, the intention apa sebenarnya of the police officer in LP Stone is not relevant.
Tak relevant, betul.
Yeah.
Betul. Boleh nampak
Yeah.
Sini dia dah letak, it was held that false imprisonment cannot establish through negligence. If they want to prove that by virtue of negligence, the act was just negligent, there was no intention.
Yes.
Then it relates lah to the statement yang dia buat kat atas ni. Okay, tapi cumanya negligent was not discussed in terms of apa act dia yang tak bukan negligent, bukan trespass, tapi negligent. So that has to be discussed lah.
So kita buang negligent, we stick to trespass.
Yeah, but this case is about negligent kan. So so in negligent, obviously intention is not paramount.
Yes.
Okay, the rest of the group macam mana? Ada soalan?
Hope we can extend the class.
Yes, soalan.
Doctor, can this case be used to distinguish between having the intention and not having the intention?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Itu saja. Remember, you are to utilize something yang boleh datang benefit. Kalau benda tu, case tu tak boleh mendatangkan benefit untuk you nak prove bahawa in this case you nak mental kan. So kalau case tu tak ada kena-mengena dengan mental yang you tak boleh highlight, jangan pakai.
Yeah. Sorry sir, tak silap 10:30 automatically. Boleh extend the timing, dia punya time period?
Oh ya ke? Kejap. Dia akan ni.
Dia akan automatically putus.
Ya ke? Kejap.
Okay. Ya. So kita cepat-cepat continue.
Wait kejap Kejap.
Technically I tak berapa pandai, tapi I think it'll automatically cut off kan?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Dia 1.5 hours.
Rasanya tak
Tak
kot.
kot. Ini berbayar.
Tak.
I
ATM bayar.
tak kot
Okay.
because it does not connect to
Hmm.
the future pun.
Ada
Oh.
tak?
You future dia tak bagi dah.
Dia
Tak apa, dia
sebenarnya
tak ada, dia just reference saja.
Oh, okay.
Yang time frame tu untuk kita tanda attendance 50 minutes
Okay.
sebelum 50 minutes after tu je.
Okay, the rest nampak if the same goes for every element. Kalau lah kata false imprisonment ada 3 elemen, so 3 elemen kena prove the same method. Same je. Repeat the whole formula. Formula dia dipakai macam tu untuk semua elemen. So second, you kata the point and then you are to explain the point, right? And then you prove the case and then you mention about what happened in the case that relates to the direct consequence. Ingat, mana-mana case yang you bawa masuk, you nak kena highlight where is the direct consequences of the defendant act dalam case yang you bawa masuk. The facts is not important, the help is not important, you know. Maksudnya help ni kenapa tak important? Because the help is not the law. The law is the ratio decidendi, the reason for why the court is saying that the case is like what they decide. So this is the, what they call it, the result of the application of the law. So what is the law? Is the ability for you to say that this is the direct consequences of the defendant act, which can be found dalam Hanet and bond.
That's all.
That's all.
Tak payah cerita in 100. What was the direct consequence that
Tak payah. Why you have to waste your time? What is the relevance? Because people will say, okay, fine. Are you teaching me something about the case? What is the relevance of the facts to the law? If it does relate in any way, yes, you have to mention it. But facts is just for us to understand what happened in that case. So it is not important to tell us what is the law, meaning the ratio decidendi of the court. Ingat? Semua orang ya. So jangan silap setengah orang dia overly emphasizing on the facts, tapi dia tak tahu what is the law. Law yang penting yang kita kena pentingkan. Law yang penting kita kena pentingkan. You know, that is the most important thing. Okay? It's not about the help, yeah. Found edit. This is not important at all. Okay? You can delete it. The facts can be deleted, the help can be deleted, which is not important. What is important? For you to prove that direct consequence is a real decision or real elements that is important for that particular case. So you nak letak lagi dahsyat, you letaklah 2 lagi case, you know, trying to emphasize that it is direct consequence of the defendant is something that is real, something that is the law.
Hornet has please correct me. Hornet ni I rasa is to support the mental state ni, bukan direct consequences ni.
Itulah. I cannot go into detail. You know
Okay.
but I'm telling you the technique rather than the content.
Okay, got it.
Right, So you scrutinize lah. Bila answer jawab kata kenapa letak 100? Are they able to, because this is just a twist of how you manipulate a law in order to suit your argument. So the technique of, you know, nanti part 7 you akan masuk ke court muting where you are going to ada muting. You are going to present your case verbally, you know, you argue as if you are in the court of law.
Wow.
So ini you buat tulisan dari segi tulisan dulu. Nanti you are supposed to argue your case. You know, a fictitious case that goes to dalam moot court. You pernah pergi kan moot court kan? Okay, sama dengan restraint must be complete. The key element is restraint must be complete. Ni keyword dia, complete. Complete maksudnya there is no safe means of escape. Itu definition. So nombor 1 ada, nombor 2 ada, nombor 3 your authority. So Burt and Jones. So dalam Burt and Jones you cannot be putting the facts. Why? The facts is relevant baru you boleh. Kalau if it's not, then what's the point? To elaborate the case. So What is the important about the elaboration? Why is it so important? No need. So what you want to do is go straight to the ratio decidendi. Mana?
It was not complete in bird. It was not complete.
Partial obstruction or disturbances does not constitute as false imprisonment where it is considered as complete.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all. This is not your word. This is coming from the court in the ratio decidendi.
And not Jaya also.
No Chaya is not your authority. Haris is not your authority. The court punya ratio decidendi is your authority. Okay, so yeah, this is how you do it. When it comes to application, now application. Kenapa nak kena mention the case ni? Ni banyak orang buat mistake sini. Why you have to repeat the law? You have already established the law. Why you have to reiterate that this is the law? Tak payah, you dah prove the law is correct, what? This is, you are proving the law, meaning mental state is number one. What is mental state? This case is describing what is mental state. And then that's it. Done. Mental state is number one criteria that you have to maintain. So kenapa you nak kena letak mental state lagi punya test? Tak payah. You just talk about the case. Sorry, the case. Tengok, I buat mistake. You are talking about only the problem that was given. So you talk about Dini, you talk about Eddie, you talk about Tina, you know. What the keyword that you have to determine whether Dini and Eddie's intention ada di mana di mental intention in this. How do you prove intention? So luring Tina to that place is considered as ada mental. Second ada tak direct consequence? Direct consequence apa?
Locking.
Locking is direct consequence. You tak ada hantu pergi lock you, you know, that is act being done by both of them. Okay.
But I think there was a case, they kata kalau somebody do on your behalf pun boleh juga false imprisonment.
Yeah, betul. So dia doctrine of transfer intent lah.
We can subcon the intention.
Yeah. Doctrine of transfer intent. You know, you have the intention, you pass to somebody else in order for the person to do it on your behalf. Okay. So tak payah di sini tiga elemen yang I nak kena tengok di sini you kena tunjuk dalam application is whereby mana mental dia? Where's the word mental here? Ni direct result. Tak ada perkataan yang tadi. I nak tengok tiga elemen mental, I nak tengok direct, okay, this keywords tak boleh nak highlight lah.
And complete.
Direct, mental, direct dengan complete. Mana perkataan tiga-tiga ni? Mana mental, mana direct, mana complete? Tak ada.
Apply.
Tak, apply tu memang apply lah. Maksudnya the word must be there.
Yes.
Where is the word mental? The exact mental. Mana dah? Mana? Group 4 mana you punya defense?
So in this case, baru kita bagi contoh mental, apa that Tina did to Dini.
Yes. Maksudnya mental you have proof from the problem that was given. Di sini ada mental. Di sini dia ada direct consequence. Di sini dia ada complete.
Completed. Tapi
macam mana you nak sebut complete? Complete must go along the line of the problem that was given to you lah.
The definition.
Kalau dia kunci, takkanlah kunci considered as complete unless until kalau tingkap tu buka. Kalau you kena tengok the facts lah. Kalau the fact is showing that, kalau you kena assume lah, saying that the door was locked, you know, there is no reasonable way of running away, escaping, unless kalau you escape you injure yourself. That is not reasonable, right? Kalau lah dia lock dekat tingkat 4, you nak terjun, tak boleh, doesn't make sense. Tapi kalau tingkat 1, you pecahkan tingkap, you lompat, that is not considered as complete because you ada access.
Okay.
Tapi kalau the word pecahkan cermin tingkap tu boleh membahayakan you, then that is considered as complete lah.
Let's say definition of complete katalah it was locked, but she kept trying. After 4 hours, she broke the door. Is that definition complete?
Complete lah, memang complete.
Oh,
You have to assert some kind of effort to run away. You know, macam kes kat atas ni, dia just apa? Mana? Ni kalau you tengok facts of the case of Wright and Wilson, ataupun cases that I can't remember at this moment lah. Regatta dekat atas TT. So dia complain kata he was stopped from moving to the other side of the bridge. So orang tu kata you can always, you know, change the lane and then go to the other side. You know, it's not complete. Yeah, it's not complete. That people when they want to take action, they just want to claim kata itu complete. But you must remember, you are going to have a defendant that is going to show otherwise. Okay, so itu je lah dalam ni. So the application mesti ada 3 perkataan tu, mental, direct dengan complete. Mesti ada ayat tu, and ayat tu kena highlight. Case tak perlu ada, mesti ada highlight the word tu dalam sini. And kalau tak ada, macam ni memang tak jawab ha? Hilang 50% daripada markah.
And this application dia kena detail sikit.
No, the application must be talking about the problem that is given. Only the problem that is being discussed and apply the law. Meaning, what is the law? Mental, direct dengan complete. How do you prove complete? And then you discuss lah. Dia kata when she was locked into that place, there is no reasonable way for her to go out based assuming that there is no safe way for her to go out.
That means under application baru kita pakai facts of the question.
Facts of the question is only to be discussed there. Yang tadi tak ada pun, jangan duk ganda-ganda duk discuss dalam nak. You are to prove the law first. Once the law is proper, then just apply je. Soalan? Okay. So bila you discuss, habis semua elemen tu, tiga-tiga tu dalam 3 paragraf ataupun dalam satu paragraf, tak kisah, you boleh letak tiga-tiga tu di the discussion, then you come to your conclusion. That's it. In concluding, Tina cannot recover the damages of false imprisonment as a third element has not been fulfilled. That's it. Simple kan? Kalau nak extend sikit, third element apa? Dia elaborate sikit lah. You don't have to repeat again. Because you have done that dalam application. Kenapa you nak kena letak dalam conclusion lagi?
Tapi this conclusion dia sebut the word damages. Question tanya legal action. So kena jawab in line dengan legal action ada tak ada, or damages ada tak ada.
Obviously it interrelates lah kan. The liability of a person for that particular so-called false imprisonment ada ke tak? And then upon establishing that, obviously it comes together with damages lah.
Kau damages topik belum belajar lagi.
Bukan
damages dulu.
Because false imprisonment was not established. Okay, why? Because the third element was not proven. And therefore she cannot claim damages lah. Damages in what sense? Monetary damages and things like that. Because obviously she is asking for damages in terms of money lah kan. So whatever damages that you are talking about, yes, we did not cover it yet, but still you can put in terms of the damages that she can get from establishing the case ataupun the problem, yeah.
So and conclusion must be in line dengan the issue.
Yes, because this is the answer. Answer to the legal problem.
The question problem.
Legal problem or legal question that was raised tadi.
Whether this, whether that.
Nampak tak? Whether ni dijawab pada conclusion dia. That's it. As simple as that. Straightforward tapi structured. Yeah, it's simple way method of you answering question, but ada dia punya tomak ninah dia lah. Clear everyone? Ada soalan? Good. The rest, I risau the rest ni. Yeah, okay. So,
I
clear.
particularly don't have a question, but in the application punya elaboration, why students like us use repetition of cases balik, letak balik, and because of apa, previous exercises from previous lecture and stuff. Whereby in the application,
Yeah.
they tell us to write back to apply each cases, to apply each verdict lah from various cases yang kita dah sebutkan tadi.
Jadi repetition lah benda tu.
Redundancy lah.
Case is what you use the case is to prove the law. Sama pun case law kan. The case is important. Why? Because it proven it prove the law. Once you prove the law, mean the criteria, then you utilize the criteria in the application. Why you have to like tapi setengah orang dia boleh dia nak buat macam ni. You boleh juga, tak ada masalah. Buat the first element terus you apply. Faham tak? First element mental. Dekat mana mental dalam problem ni?
But then kalau buat macam tu, it would not be structured lah kan?
Tak apa, tak ada ha. Okay je. So law apply, and then you conclude lah.
So law apply conclude issue 1, law apply conclude issue 2.
Tak boleh lah, tak boleh conclude. Okay, you boleh conclude, dia kata ada mental, ada direct consequence, and then ada complete. Boleh? So mini conclusion, tiga-tiga tu you buat the master conclusion. Here is the master conclusion.
That means lagi another grand conclusion kan?
Yes.
Because like my question,
yes.
My question ada 3 item. Assault, battery, false imprisonment. So under assault I dah conclude, battery conclude, yang tu false imprisonment conclude, lepas tu grand conclusion conclude.
Tak payah. Don't trouble yourself to try to do the whole thing. You know? Maksudnya assault dah settle, and then battery dah settle, and then close it. You know, matikan, so you don't have to come back. Because kalau you open up the possibility of you to main conclusion, dia kata dalam exam, kalau real exam, time's up, stop writing. You tak sempat nak conclusion. Whereas the conclusion is going to complete the whole thing kan, habis. Tapi dalam keadaan COVID ni senang sikit.
Yang doktor yang Seharis mention tu pasal mini conclusion tu Dato' is on the element. Kan kalau katakan you element 1 contohnya intention kan, you straight away conclude lah. So therefore based on the facts of the question, the intention has been established kan. So then masa conclusion tu then you conclude lah whether there is a thought of battery tu ada ke, false imprisonment tu ada. Itu maksud dia mini conclusion. Mini conclusion
macam tu lah. Tapi Datuk punya dia kata dia nak buat tiga-tiga, and then the master one. Tak payah, don't worry about that.
For example, the master one ni is saying there is no assault, there is battery, there is false imprisonment.
Okay, boleh lah kalau you nak want to do it in that manner. Okay, it's okay for you to do it. No, orang kata extra lah. You know?
Because the issue was assault, battery, false imprisonment. Conclusion will be, main conclusion, yes, got assault, no battery, yes, got false imprisonment. Tapi the other conclusion is, while we are going through the applications, we are concluding.
What Zul kata tadi, the conclusion of the mini conclusion. Macam ni yang saya tulis ni, apply and conclude the element. Ada tak mental? Then you can do it here. You don't have to wait until application di sini. Takut sekali you terlepas. Okay?
Yes.
it depends on how you guys want to do it. Now that is flexible, right? If
Okay.
you feel comfortable dengan buat macam ni, I nak settle ni, takut saya terlupa, fine, you can do it, right? And then macam ni, dia nak kena again and again talking about the facts of the problem, again and again lah. Boleh, tak ada masalah. So kalau kata yang ni you nak implement as your method, then you kena apply dekat tempat lain jugalah. Nampak tak? And you buat tak ada application lagi dah. Sebab application dah buat tadi kan. Then you go straight to the ni lah, to the answer, conclusion. Okay. All this highlighted ni hilang lah. Sebab apa? Sebab dia ada dekat in between the element.
Saris, just nak tanya sikit ni, nak to clarify lah, sebab ada juga student yang macam confused sebab kalau tengok subjek lain, we have to establish juga dia punya facts. Bila taught, kita fokus on the ratio saja. So I think it's quite clear that for taught, sebab the fact is not really relevant to the
requirement.
To requirement tu lah kan. Tapi kalau kita jawab, for instance like constitutional law kan, consti memang the fact is important sebab dia memang relevant dengan isu tu kan.
Yeah.
So bila kita talk about the case law for constitutional law, memang kita kena come up with a brief facts of the case, then baru kita fokus on the ratio. Itu ya dia. Bila kita same go to the kalau contract pun kita kena ada juga simple facts untuk ada connection between the ratio and the fact, sebab kita punya issue tu ada kena mengena dengan the fact tu. Tapi when it come to law of tort, the facts of the case tu dia tak directly relevant. So that's why kita fokus on the ratio saja. Sebab nanti kan I'm worried that kita confused. Kenapa masa dengan Dr. Haris ni kita fokus on the ratio, whereby bila masa kita belajar kontrak contohnya, lecturer kata kena ada facts. Itu kita nak kena clear kat situ kan. Nanti kan kita akan confuse.
Bila I kata there must be reason for everything we do, right?
Yes, that's right.
It is not to satisfy your lecturer alone. Sometimes it's all about that, and to satisfy, I want like this, I don't care. You know, it's a dictation. It is a command by your lecturer. Then you just follow lah. Tapi it must make sense. I want you to be able to understand why you're doing things. You know, if you are looking at this particular argument of mine, I kata kalau you nak letak facts mesti relevant to the ratio desidendai. Kalau lah kata ratio desidendai sahaja alone can be identified as concrete, then stay as it is lah. Ambil je lah ratio desidendai tu, tak payahlah nak relate dengan facts of the case kan. Tapi kalau ratio desidendai ada berbincang dengan facts of the case ya, macam macam Datuk tanya Tumbubil Savage kan. Tumbubil tu dia kan pegang pedang. Kalau pegang pedang, it shows the mental side of the person. Tapi words cancel the act of the person bila dia pegang pedang tu. Pegang pedang tu kan, as I've already discussed kan, it's about, you know, challenging a person to duel, untuk nak bertarung lah kan. Okay. I think boleh guys?
Boleh.
Simple kan? Very straightforward. It's structured lah. Problematic question ni structured. Jangan risau sangat nak kena buat nak bunga-bunga. Tak payah. Dia nak jawab dalam problematic ni, dia tak perlu bunga-bunga. We are looking only at the facts. Facts meaning facts, element of facts. Bila saya cakap facts ni nanti confused lah. Kita nak tengok benda point, ya. We are looking at the point rather than elaborating the point. Boleh guys? Sebelah dah, takut lagi ramai yang dah live lah. 21, tadi 24. Okay, so kalau tak ada question, I will be recording. Recording. Line clear, line tak clear, tak apa. Dah recording ni, nanti I bagi masuk dalam link dalam YouFuture, so you can lajukan it to the area that you need lah to understand. Boleh guys? So
Boleh,
thank you so much for
Sir,
coming. Yeah.
one question.
Yeah,
So
Adnan.
our submission of the group assignment tu
Extended kan?
can we redo and we submit again ah?
Boleh. Tak ada.
Okay. Thank you,
So
sir.
second assignment dia akan jadi reducing lah. Nah. So
Boleh, sir,
first
boleh.
assignment memang I akan tolong, but the second assignment kita nak lepas sikit.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So bila berapa submission?
29 11:55 PM.
Okay, you still can do it, yeah. Right. So okay, you guys decide as a group apa approach yang you nak pakai. Kalau you nak pakai whichever approach, it has to be the same lah. Tak boleh lah sekejap you pakai mode ni, sekejap you pakai mode tu. You know, pakai kalau law, application, conclusion untuk elemen satu, pakai the same thing untuk semua. Kalau you nak pakai highlight semua. Highlight maksudnya proper kan? Up to you. Submission assignment 1, 29 kan?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope I did not I hope you all dapat lah apa yang you nak malam ni. So hopefully you can do your work the best possible. So good night. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Semua orang kena keluar. Kalau tak keluar dia Waalaikumsalam. Semua kena keluar. Otherwise bila I tendang nanti you tak boleh masuk dah. Sebab dia
terima kasih sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Siti, Alia, Siti last kali. Alright.